the spark ignited. Reclaiming the lost flame. Imagine, if you will, a lone warrior standing atop a jagged cliff at dawn. The first rays of the sun pierce the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold. In his hand, he holds a flickering torch. Not just any flame, but one born from the core of his being, a spark of pure, unyielding life force. Below him stretches a vast, shadowed valley, riddled with pitfalls, glowing screens that lure like sirens, endless scrolls of fleeting pleasures, and the hollow echoes of unfulfilled desires. With each gust of wind, the torch threatens to extinguish, its light dimming as drops of precious fuel, his very essence, slip away into the abyss. Every drop you waste, the warrior whispers to himself, is a spark of your destiny lost to the void. He clenches his fist, drawing the flame inward, transforming its wild dance into a steady, radiant glow that illuminates not just the path ahead, but the hidden chambers of his soul. This, dear listener, is the essence of semen retention. Not a cage for your desires, but a forge where they are tempered into unbreakable power. It is the ancient art of guarding your seed, your sacred fire, against the tempests of modern life. In this journey we embark upon, together, we will reclaim that flame, turning it from a fleeting flicker into an eternal blaze that fuels your focus, vitality, creativity, and ultimate spiritual awakening. In our hyper-connected world, where distractions assault us from every angle, the ping of notifications, the endless dopamine hits from pornographic illusions, the stress of relentless ambition, we have forgotten the primal truth. Your sexual energy is the bedrock of your existence. It is the jing of Taoist wisdom, the ojas of Ayurvedic lore, the kundalini serpent coiled at the base of your spine in tantric traditions. Modern science echoes these ancients, revealing that semen is not mere biological waste, but a concentrated elixir of hormones, nutrients, and neurotransmitters designed to propel you toward greatness. Let us begin at the dawn of this revelation with a story that bridges the old and the new. Picture Alex, a young man in his 20s, much like you or someone you know. By day, he's chained to a desk in a bustling city office, his eyes glazing over spreadsheets under fluorescent lights that drain the color from his world. By night, he scrolls through digital fantasies, chasing ephemeral highs that leave him emptier than before. Why am I so tired? He wonders, staring at his reflection in the mirror, pale skin, foggy mind, a gnawing void in his chest. Porn addiction has become his silent thief, siphoning his vitality one click at a time. Stress piles on, cortisol flooding his system, turning his once vibrant energy into a sluggish trickle. He feels disconnected, adrift in a sea of superficial connections, yearning for something real, something profound. One fateful evening, Alex stumbles upon an ancient text, a dusty tome on Taoist alchemy. It speaks of jing, the foundational essence stored in the kidneys and reproductive organs, akin to the fuel in our warrior's torch. Conserve your jing, the sages advise, and it will transmute into kui, the vital energy that animates your body, and further into shen, the spirit that connects you to the divine. Skeptical yet desperate, Alex delves deeper, cross-referencing with modern studies. He learns from neuroscientists that frequent ejaculation depletes zinc, a mineral crucial for testosterone production and cognitive function. Semen contains up to 5 milligrams of zinc per ejaculation. That's a significant portion of your daily needs, lost in moments of unchecked release. As Alex commits to retention, something shifts. Days turn into weeks, and his body responds like a parched earth drinking in rain. Testosterone levels surge. Studies from the Journal of Endocrinology show that after just 7 days of abstinence, testosterone can spike by up to 145%, enhancing muscle repair, fat metabolism, and that raw magnetic confidence that draws opportunities like moths to a flame. His energy rebounds. No longer does he crash mid-afternoon, relying on caffeine crutches. Instead, a steady vitality courses through him, fueled by conserved resources. Dopamine receptors, battered by porn's overstimulation, begin to heal. Research from Cambridge University highlights how porn addiction desensitizes the brain's reward system, much like drug dependency, leading to anhedonia, the inability to find joy in everyday life. Retention reverses this, recalibrating your neurology for sustained motivation and pleasure from meaningful pursuits. But this is no mere suppression. It is transformation. In tantric energy work, sexual energy is not denied, but redirected. Imagine your arousal as a river. Wild and untamed, it can flood and destroy, or be channeled through dams and canals to irrigate vast fields of creativity. The Taoists called this circulating the microcosmic orbit, where you breathe deeply, drawing the energy up the spine, from the perineum to the crown, infusing every cell with potency. Ayurvedic texts describe ojas as the supreme vitality built through celibacy or mindful continence, granting immunity, radiance, and longevity. Modern biology concurs. Semen retention preserves prostaglandins and other compounds that bolster the immune system, reducing inflammation and accelerating healing. Let us pause here and breathe together. Inhale deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs, then exhale slowly, imagining any tension melting away. This simple act is your first tool in this journey. Breath work as the bridge between body and spirit. As you retain, surges of energy may arise. Without guidance, they can manifest as restlessness or frustration. But with intention, you transmute them. Visualize your sexual fire rising like steam from a cauldron, ascending to fuel your heart's passions and mind's innovations. Now, consider the biological symphony at play. Your testes, those alchemical factories, produce not just sperm, but a cocktail of life-affirming substances. Fructose for energy, enzymes for cellular repair, and hormones like oxytocin and serotonin precursors that stabilize mood. When you ejaculate excessively, you deplete these reserves, leading to what traditional Chinese medicine calls kidney deficiency. Symptoms mirroring modern fatigue syndromes. Lower back pain, brain fog, weakened immunity. A study in the archives of sexual behavior links frequent masturbation to elevated prolactin levels post-orgasm, which suppress dopamine and induce a refractory period of demotivation. Retention breaks this cycle, allowing dopamine to build steadily, sharpening focus like a laser beam through fog. Think of it through the lens of evolutionary biology. Our ancestors, hunters and gatherers, couldn't afford to squander energy in times of scarcity. Semen retention mimics this primal state, signaling to your body that resources must be conserved for survival and thriving. Epigenetics enters the stage. Research from epigenome studies suggests that lifestyle choices, including sexual habits, influence gene expression. By retaining, you may activate genes associated with resilience, longevity, and even heightened intuition, as if awakening dormant codes written in your DNA by the cosmos itself. Weave in the ancient metaphor of the seed. In Vedic philosophy, the seed is sacred, not to be scattered carelessly, but planted in fertile soil. Your semen is that seed, holding the potential for creation, whether birthing a child, an idea, or a transformed self. Modern challenges amplify the urgency. In an era of sedentary jobs and processed foods, our natural vitality is already compromised. Porn, that digital Pandora's box, hijacks the limbic system, creating addiction loops that drain ojas faster than any physical excess. A report from the Kinsey Institute reveals that over 50% of men under 30 report erectile dysfunction linked to porn use, a stark indicator of energetic depletion. Yet hope blooms in retention's garden. As Alex persists, his skin glows with renewed ojas, his eyes sparkle with Jing's clarity. He tackles workouts with vigor, his body sculpting itself as if guided by an inner artist. Hormone balance restores, cortisol dips, growth hormone rises during sleep, fostering deep restoration. Science from the Endocrine Society confirms that abstinence enhances androgen receptor sensitivity, making your existing testosterone more effective, like upgrading from a spark to a bonfire. But biology is merely the foundation. The psychological edifice built upon it is where true magic unfolds. Retention cultivates willpower, that elusive muscle eroded by instant gratification. In a world of endless swipes and likes, saying no to release is saying yes to mastery. Psychologists like those at Harvard's Positive Psychology Center link self-control to life satisfaction. Retention becomes your daily practice in this art. Confidence surges, no longer leaking energy. You stand taller, your voice carries authority, attractions manifest naturally. Recall the story of Arjuna from the Bhagavad Gita, the archer whose focus pierced illusions. Semen retention sharpens your mental arrow, cutting through distractions. Modern neuroscience via fMRI scans shows increased prefrontal cortex activity in abstainers, enhancing executive functions, decision-making, impulse control, emotional regulation. The fog lifts, revealing clarity. Ideas flow like a mountain stream, unblocked by the dams of depletion. Incorporate tantric wisdom. Sex is not the enemy, but the ally. Transmute through partner practices or solo cultivation, circulating energy to avoid stagnation. A practical tool, the big draw breath. Inhale. Contract your pelvic floor, as in Kegels. Draw the energy up your spine to the brain. Hold, then exhale, distributing the vitality. Repeat during urges. It alchemizes lust into luminous power. Address the shadows. Detox from porn requires vigilance. Modern life bombards us with triggers. Ads, media, social feeds designed to exploit base instincts. Create barriers. App blockers, accountability partners, nature immersion. As you detox, withdrawal may hit, irritability, insomnia. But these are the death throes of addiction. Science from addiction recovery models shows neuroplasticity at work. New pathways form, rewarding discipline with profound peace. Envision your mind as a temple, once cluttered with fleeting images, now cleared for divine communion. Psychological benefits deepen. Reduced anxiety as balanced hormones quell the fight-or-flight overdrive. Studies in psychoneuroendocrinology link semen retention to elevated GABA levels, nature's tranquilizer, fostering a meditative calm amid chaos. Stories abound in history. Nikola Tesla, the celibate genius whose inventions lit the world. Steve Jobs, influenced by Eastern practices, channeling energy into innovation. You too can harness this. In emptiness's grip, retention fills the void with purpose. Disconnection dissolves as you reconnect inwardly, radiating authenticity that draws genuine bonds. As part one draws to its midpoint, feel the spark igniting within. This is not ascetic denial, but empowered choice. Biological rebirth paves the way for psychological renaissance, setting the stage for spiritual horizons. In the words of the Tao Te Ching, he who knows how to conserve his essence will endure. Yet the journey deepens. Urges arise like tempests. Meet them with meditation. Sit in stillness. Observe the energy without judgment. Guide it upward. Tools like yoga, child's pose to ground, cobra to awaken the spine, amplify retention's gifts. Modern science validates. A study in Frontiers in Psychology found abstainers reporting heightened creativity as conserved energy fuels divergent thinking. Your brain, no longer hijacked, dreams boldly, relate to the everyman. The father drained by work and habits, reclaiming vitality to play with his children. The artist, channeling passion into masterpieces. The seeker, awakening to life's symphony. In Ayurvedic terms, Ojas builds through sattvic living, pure foods, rest, retention. Avoid tamasic indulgences that deplete. Alcohol, excess meat, overstimulation. Embrace fruits, nuts, herbs like ashwagandha to bolster jing. Breathwork evolves. Alternate nostril breathing balances hemispheres, calming the mind for retention's challenges. Psychologically, shadow work integrates. Confront why you leak energy. Fear, loneliness. Journal, unearth roots, transmute into strength. Confidence blooms in social realms. Retention's aura commands respect, as if wearing an invisible crown. As we approach the spiritual veil, sense the stirring. Kundalini's whisper, third eyes glimmer. But first, solidify the base, practical detox. Cold showers shock the system, building resilience. Exercise transmutes energy physically. In this cinematic unfolding, you are the hero, guarding your semen against modern dragons. The flame grows, illuminating paths unseen. The forge of transformation, tempering the flame. The warrior from our dawn-lit cliff now stands within a forge, the air thick with heat and the scent of molten iron. His torch, once flickering, burns brighter, its flame fed by his resolve to guard his sacred seed. Sparks fly as he hammers raw energy into a blade of focus, each strike a conscious choice to channel his essence rather than squander it. The valley below still tempts, screens glow, desires whisper, but he is no longer swayed. This is the heart of semen retention. Not mere abstinence, but the alchemy of transforming primal urges into radiant power. In this second act of our journey, we delve into the psychological forge, where clarity, willpower, and confidence are crafted, and glimpse the spiritual horizon where your inner fire begins to touch the divine. Picture Alex, our modern seeker, now weeks into his practice. The initial spark of retention has ignited a steady glow. He wakes with purpose, his mind no longer cloaked in fog. Where once he scrolled mindlessly, chasing hollow highs, he now journals ideas that pour forth like a dam unleashed. His colleagues notice a change, a quiet authority in his voice, a magnetic presence that draws eyes in meetings. This is no accident. Semen retention rewires the psyche, forging mental resilience in a world designed to fracture it. The distractions of modern life, the endless notifications, the curated facades of social media, the pornographic vortex, are chains we've accepted as normal. But in breaking free, you reclaim the throne of your mind. Let's explore the psychological transformation at play. Semen retention is a discipline that trains the muscle of willpower. In a study from the Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making, researchers found that self-control in one domain, like resisting impulsive release, strengthens discipline across others, from diet to productivity. Each moment you choose retention over indulgence, you etch a neural pathway of mastery. This is the Stoics' art of self-command, echoed in ancient texts like the Upanishads, where the mind is likened to a chariot, its wild horses tamed by the charioteer's steady hand. Your sexual energy, once a runaway steed, becomes a loyal ally, pulling you toward goals with relentless drive. Consider the science. Frequent ejaculation floods the brain with prolactin, a hormone that dampens dopamine, leaving you in a post-release haze. Retention reverses this, stabilizing dopamine levels, as shown in studies from the European Journal of Neuroscience. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter of motivation, fuels your ambition, sharpens your focus, and amplifies your zest for life. Imagine Alex, once slouched in his chair, now tackling projects with a clarity that feels almost superhuman. His prefrontal cortex, the brain's command center, hums with activity. fMRI studies confirm that abstinence boosts executive function, enhancing decision-making and emotional regulation. The fog of porn-induced overstimulation lifts, revealing a landscape of possibilities. But this is not just about saying no. It's about redirecting energy with intention. In tantric traditions, sexual energy is a sacred current meant to be circulated, not suppressed. The practice of sublimation, channeling arousal into higher pursuits, is your psychological forge. When urges arise, don't fight them, dance with them. Visualize the energy as a golden thread, rising from your pelvis to your heart, fueling passion for art, work, or service. A practical tool, the microcosmic orbit meditation. Sit quietly, inhale deeply, and imagine drawing the energy up your spine to your crown, then down the front of your body as you exhale. This ancient Taoist practice, validated by modern biofeedback studies, calms the nervous system while amplifying mental clarity. The psychological benefits cascade. Confidence blooms as you master impulses. Social anxiety, often rooted in depleted energy and self-doubt, fades. A study in personality and social psychology. Bulletin links higher testosterone, bolstered by retention, to reduced fear responses and increased social dominance. Not aggression, but the quiet assurance of a man who knows his worth. Alex notices this in his interactions. Where he once avoided eye contact, he now holds it, his presence grounding conversations. Women sense it. Men respect it. This is the aura of Ojas, the Ayurvedic essence of vitality, radiating from a man who guards his seed. Yet the path has shadows. Modern life is a minefield of triggers. A suggestive ad, a fleeting image on a feed, a moment of stress seeking escape. Porn addiction, as Alex discovered, rewires the brain's reward system, creating a dopamine-craving loop akin to gambling or drugs. Breaking free requires strategy. Neuroscience from addiction recovery models emphasizes cue avoidance and habit replacement. Delete apps that trigger binges. Replace late-night scrolling with reading or movement. Cold showers, a staple in yogic traditions, shock the system, redirecting blood flow and strengthening resolve. Studies in physiology and behavior show cold exposure boosts norepinephrine, enhancing alertness and mood. The psychological toll of modern disconnection runs deep. Many, like Alex, feel an emptiness, a void born of chasing external validation. Retention fills this void by turning your gaze inward. Journaling becomes a powerful tool. Write about urges, fears, dreams. Unearth the roots of your habits. Are you escaping loneliness? Seeking control? Shadow work, a Jungian practice, integrates these hidden drivers, transforming them into allies. As you retain, you confront the self you've ignored, building a relationship with your core. Let's weave in a story from mythology to ground this. In the Mahabharata, Bhishma, the warrior sage, vows celibacy to uphold Dharma, channeling his life force into unyielding strength and wisdom. His vow wasn't denial, but a sacred choice to preserve his essence for a higher purpose. You too make this choice each day you retain, crafting a psyche resilient to chaos. Modern parallels abound. The entrepreneur who channels restless energy into a startup, the artist who pours passion into a canvas, the father who conserves vitality to be present for his family. Practical tools deepen the transformation. Breathwork evolves. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, Hold again. This regulates the vagus nerve, calming the stress response as confirmed by research in frontiers in human neuroscience. Movement is crucial. Yoga's warrior poses ground energy, while HIIT workouts burn excess arousal, channeling it into strength. Diet supports the psyche. Avoid sugar spikes that mimic dopamine crashes. Incorporate zinc-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, oysters, to replenish what retention preserves, as zinc deficiency impairs mental clarity, per nutritional neuroscience. The spiritual horizon begins to shimmer. In Kundalini Yoga, sexual energy is the root of the serpent power, coiled at the base of the spine. Retention awakens this force, gently nudging it upward. You may feel subtle sensations, warmth in the lower back, a tingling at the third eye. These are whispers of Shen, the Taoist spirit, or Sattva, the Ayurvedic state of purity. Meditation amplifies this. Focus on the space between your eyebrows, breathing slowly, inviting clarity. A study in consciousness and cognition links mindfulness to enhanced interoception, the ability to sense your body's signals, a gateway to spiritual intuition. Relate this to the modern struggle. The employee drained by corporate monotony finds purpose in retention's discipline. The student, overwhelmed by exams and screens, discovers focus. The seeker, yearning for meaning, senses a spark of the divine within. Retention is not about perfection, but progress. Each day you hold the line. You forge a stronger self. The psychological forge is also a crucible for creativity. As dopamine stabilizes, your brain's default mode network, the source of imagination, thrives. Studies in creativity research journals show abstainers reporting vivid dreams and innovative ideas. Alex begins sketching designs he'd long abandoned, his mind a wellspring of inspiration. This is Jing transmuting into Shen, raw energy into luminous vision. Yet challenges persist. The ego resists change, whispering doubts. Is this worth it? Society mocks discipline, branding it outdated. Counter this with community, online forums, mentors, or friends who share the path. Accountability anchors resolve. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us, the mind is restless, but it can be tamed through practice and detachment. Retention is that practice, detaching you from fleeting pleasures for lasting power. As we close part 2, feel the blade sharpening in your forge. Your mind, once scattered, aligns like stars in a constellation. Confidence, clarity, and creativity are your rewards. But the journey ascends further. The spiritual realm awaits, where retention unveils your divine potential. The eternal flame. Awakening the divine within. The warrior stands now at the summit of his journey, no longer on a cliff, but within a vast, inner cathedral of light. His torch, once a fragile flicker, roars as an eternal flame, its radiance illuminating not just his path, but the cosmos within him. The valley of distractions lies far below, its lures dim against the brilliance of his reclaimed essence. This is the pinnacle of semen retention, a sacred mastery that transmutes sexual energy into a bridge to the divine. In this final act, we explore the spiritual dimensions of retention, the awakening of Kundalini, the opening of the third eye, and the realization of your divine human potential. This is not the end, but a beginning, a call to live as a beacon of purpose and transcendence in a world aching for meaning. Return to Alex, our modern pilgrim. Months into his practice, he feels a shift beyond the physical and psychological. In moments of stillness, a warmth stirs at the base of his spine, like a coiled serpent stretching toward the heavens. His dreams grow vivid, filled with symbols. A lotus blooming, a star pulsing at his forehead. Meditation brings glimpses of clarity, as if a veil has lifted, revealing truths once hidden. This is the spiritual promise of semen retention. Not just vitality or focus, but a gateway to the sacred, where your essence becomes a conduit for the divine. In ancient traditions, sexual energy is the root of spiritual awakening. The Taoists called it Jing, the primal essence that, when conserved, transforms into Qi and ultimately Shen, the spirit that communes with the infinite. In Ayurveda, Ojas is the nectar of life, built through retention, granting radiance and a connection to the universal consciousness. Tantric teachings describe Kundalini, the serpent energy coiled at the sacrum, waiting to rise through the chakras to unite with the divine at the crown. These are not mere metaphors, but maps of the soul, echoed by modern mystics and validated by the subtle science of energy. Consider the Kundalini awakening. In yogic traditions, semen is the physical vessel of this primal force. By retaining, you stoke the fire that nudges the serpent upward. You may feel it as warmth, tingling, or a surge of vitality. Subtle at first, like a whisper from the cosmos. A study in the Journal of Consciousness Studies explores how meditative practices, paired with continence, enhance alpha brain waves, fostering states of transcendence. Alex, practicing daily meditation, notices these signs. A pulse at his lower back during breathwork, a clarity in his third eye during silence. This is not fantasy, but the body's wisdom, amplified by retention. The third eye, or Ajna chakra, begins to stir. In Vedic lore, this is the seat of intuition, where inner vision pierces illusion. Retention fuels this awakening by preserving the biochemical precursors of serotonin and melatonin, hormones linked to pineal gland function, what some call the third eye in neuroscience. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Neuroscience suggests abstinence boosts melatonin production, enhancing vivid dreams and intuitive insights. Alex experiences this as moments of knowing. Solutions to problems arise unbidden. Connections form in his mind like constellations aligning. This is Shen unfolding, the spirit illuminated by conserved Jing. Yet, the spiritual path demands balance. Kundalini, if forced, can overwhelm. Symptoms like restlessness or emotional surges arise if energy is not grounded. Practical tools anchor this ascent. Grounding meditation. Sit with feet planted. Visualize roots extending into the earth, drawing stability as you breathe. Yoga's Savasana pose, lying flat, integrates energy post-practice. Diet remains key. Sattvic foods, fresh vegetables, ghee, almonds, nourish ojas, while tamasic substances like alcohol dull the spirit. Ashwagandha and shilajit, Ayurvedic herbs, bolster spiritual vitality, as noted in ethnobotanical research. The modern world challenges this awakening. Screens overload the senses, numbing intuition. Stress frays the nervous system, blocking subtle energies. Detox deepens. Limit blue light exposure, which disrupts melatonin per Sleep Research Journal findings. Nature becomes your ally. Walk barefoot on grass, letting the Earth's electromagnetic field recalibrate your energy, as supported by studies in Journal of Environmental and Public Health. Alex finds solace in forest hikes, his senses sharpening, his heart opening to the world's pulse. Spiritually, retention is a vow of devotion, not to a deity, but to your highest self. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advises Arjuna to act with detachment, offering efforts to the divine. Retention mirrors this. You offer your urges to a higher purpose, transmuting desire into creation. Stories of sages like Ramakrishna, who channeled passion into divine ecstasy, inspire. Modern parallels exist. The musician whose retained energy births soul-stirring melodies, the healer whose presence soothes, the leader whose vision uplifts. Practical tools for spiritual integration abound. Pranayama, or breath control, is paramount. Try Kapalabhati, rapid, forceful exhales through the nose, followed by passive inhales, to ignite Kundalini, as yogic texts prescribe. Research in International Journal of Yoga shows it boosts cerebral blood flow, enhancing focus and spiritual clarity. Mantra meditation, chanting Om or So Hum, aligns vibrations with the universe, amplifying Shen. Visualize a white light at your third eye, expanding with each breath, dissolving egoic barriers. The spiritual journey confronts shadows. Doubt creeps in. Am I delusional? Society scoffs at transcendence, favoring materialism. Counter this with community, seekers, mentors, or texts like the Tao Te Ching, which reminds us the softest thing in the universe overcomes the hardest. Your retained energy is that softness flowing like water to carve new paths. Journaling evolves. Reflect on synchronicities, dreams, or moments of awe. These are breadcrumbs from the divine, guiding your awakening. Relate this to the everyman. The parent finding patience through retention's calm, the artist touching the sublime, the seeker sensing unity in a fractured world. Retention is not elitist, it's universal. A study in Journal of Positive Psychology links self-transcendence to well-being. Retention fosters this, connecting you to something greater. The call to action is clear. Semen retention is sacred mastery, a rebellion against distraction's tyranny. You're not suppressing, but igniting, a flame that burns away illusion, revealing your divine potential. Alex, once lost in screens, now meditates under stars, his energy a bridge to the infinite. You too can walk this path. Guard your seed, not out of fear, but devotion to your highest self. Let each choice to retain be a prayer, each breath a step toward awakening. As the cathedral of your soul glows, know this: the world needs your light. In an era of disconnection, your retained essence is a beacon, inspiring others to reclaim their fire. This is your legacy. Not just a life well lived, but a life ablaze with purpose, creativity, and divine connection.